Okay, so those who have joined, you people write your name in the chat box and we will start off with today's class. So, in yesterday's topic, we have studied about this how to test object oriented programs, then the various properties of the object oriented programs, and then we have studied how to do the gray box testing thing, that is using the UML models and so on. So, as we know that this is my voice audible to you all right?
Yes, ma'am.
So this integration testing of object oriented programs, mainly two main approaches are there. The first approach is the thread based approach, and the second approach is the use based approach. Now, what is this thread based approach? In this approach, what happens is all the classes that need to collaborate with each other in order to realize the behavior of a single use case, they are integrated and they are tested. So, after all the required classes for a use case are integrated and tested, another use case is taken up and other classes are those necessary for execution of the second use case to run are integrated. So one classes is taken, all the classes that are collaborated with that class, that will be tested. After that is done, it will move on to the next use case or class. With the second class, the classes which are collaborating, then all that will be taken. So like this, the integration process goes on. So this is continued till all the classes or the use cases they have been considered. So this is the thread based approach where all the classes collaborated with a class will be integrated together. And what is this use based approach? The second approach. Now in this use based, what happens is there are a few class which do not require any other class. So it's not always that a class will call some other class, right? So it begins by testing those classes that either do not need any other service from any other class, or even if they knew, they need a very few class. Suppose here I have one class and it needs the service of five or six classes. But in suppose I have another class which doesn't need the service of any other class, or I have another class which just needs the service of one more extra class. So these examples they falls under the used based approach. That is, it begins by testing the classes that either need no service from other classes or they need service from at most a few other classes. So after these classes, they have been integrated and tested. Classes that use the service from all already integrated classes, they will be integrated and tested together. And again, this will be continued till all the use cases or all the classes have been integrated and tested. So thread-based approach is one class is taken and all the associated classes are also taken. But use-based approach is those classes which does not require service from other classes. They are quickly integrated and tested so that they may be available to the services or the classes that may be needing these classes. Okay. So these are the integration testing approach, two main approach of object-oriented programs. So with this, the integration testing topic is finished. Next, we move on to the topic that is system testing. So far we have studied all the levels of testing. So the last testing as a whole which remains is system testing. So now this is the system testing. So after all the units of a program, they have been integrated together and tested. After then the system testing is taken up, we all know that. So system testing, they are designed, sorry. So system testing are applied when it is designed to validate a fully developed system. That is, after the systems are unit tested, they are integration tested, and after those, that only the entire system will, the developed system, it will move on to the system testing part. And it is, this testing is done. And what are we doing in system testing? We simply check one thing: what we have offered or what we wanted to offer before starting this product development, are we able to offer that thing to know or not? Suppose a mobile, I have told the customers that this will be an Android, this version mobile, this features will be, and all and so on. So system testing is that stage where I will check that what I have said, whether I have confirmed to my sayings or not. That is, what I have specified in my SRS document, what requirements that are specified in the SRS document, that requirements have been assured or not. That fully developed system, after passing through unit testing and integration testing, these requirements are meeting or not. This thing we validate, and for this validation we pass the product through system testing phase. So this system testing procedure, it is same for both procedural program and for object oriented program as well. Because the system test cases now, these are designed solely based on the SRS document, that what I have said I will offer, whether I am have been able to offer or not. So since the design of the test cases, they are based on the SRS document, so the testing pattern is same for both procedural programs and for object oriented program. So the implementation is immaterial. That is, it has followed procedural process or it has followed object oriented process. That implementation is immaterial in nature. Okay. Now, as we talk about system testing, there are mainly three kinds of system testing. The first one is the alpha testing. Next is the beta testing. Third is the acceptance testing. Since you have already studied this in software engineering, can anyone say what is alpha testing?
Ma'am, testing which is done by the developers.
Yes, right. So this is done by the developers, right? So this system testing is carried out by the testing within the organization where the system was being developed, right? And what is beta testing?
Testing which is done by the testers.
Testers. Who are these testers?
Specialized testing team.
Sorry.
Specialized testing team which is actually developed for testing the software.
Uh, no. Test team. Here only we have the test team. Actually, developers is not the word. The alpha testing, na, alpha testing is carried out by the specialized test teams inside the developing organization. Okay, so test team works for alpha testing, but for beta testing, test team doesn't work. Here, customers come into being, but here the vast customers won't come. A selected group of friendly customers, a selected group of customers, they will come and they will do the beta testing. Okay, and this acceptance testing is also done by the customers, but a larger group of customers, and it is performed to determine whether the delivery of the system it can be accepted or not. Okay, but it need not happen that since three types of people are testing, the test cases need to be different. It may not happen. The test cases can be same or they can be different. Okay, so the test cases can be same for these three type of the difference will be in the way that who is carrying out this test, because the test team may easily test the product with the test cases. That test cases may not be understandable by this set of customers, so that it will invalidate. Again, the knowledge these customers had, it may happen that the majority of the customers doesn't have, so again it will invalid. So this is the reason while these three category of people they do these three types of testing. It may happen with the same test case or it may happen with different test cases. So alpha testing is done by the test team in the organization where the product is developed. Beta testing is done by a selected group of friendly customers who are a bit knowledgeable. This the company will choose, and acceptance testing is done by the majority of the customers who will validate whether the product can be accepted or not before selling it out to all the worldwide. Okay, so is this thing clear? Is this thing clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Now when I am saying about this system test cases, it can be classified, into two groups, that is functionality test cases and performance test cases. Okay, so before a fully integrated system that is accepted for system testing, one more testing is performed, that is known as smoke testing. We will come to that. So before an integration test, between this integration testing and system testing, one more testing is done, that is known as smoke testing. Now, smoke testing is done to check whether at least the main functionalities of the software are working properly or not. So, at least, so smoke testing is done to check at least that whether the main functionalities of the software they are working properly or not. So, unless the software is stable and at least the main functionalities are working satisfactory, system testing is not undertaken, because there is no point in system testing, because when the main functionalities itself is not working properly, then how come the entire system will work according to the expectation of customers? So it's very obvious. So between this integration testing and this system testing, another testing is done which is known as smoke testing, and its main job is to see whether the main functionalities which are designed in this SRS document, those functionalities are working or not. If it is okay, then only it is passed through system testing, and if it is not okay, then and there again the retesting will be done or the recoding will be done. Now these functionality tests, they are designed to check whether the software that is built is satisfying the functional requirements documented in the SRS document. So there must be some functional requirements in the SRS document. So, and these functional requirements are the requirements expected from my software product. So in smoke testing, I will simply check what are the main functional requirements jotted down in the SRS document. Those functional requirements, whether it is working or not. If it is working, okay. If it is not working, then it needs to be redone. And this is about what? As I said, this is about the functionality test cases. And what is this about performance test cases? Now, the performance test cases, on the other hand, they test the conformation of the system with the non-functional requirements of the system. And how do we do this non-functional requirements? We have already studied that. That is in black box testing, right? So when we run the black box, when we design the test cases using a black box, we are able to do that. So the functionality test cases are also seen, and the performance test cases, that is the non-functional requirements that are documented in the SRS document, whether our software conform to that non-functional requirement or not. Okay. So this was the concept about the system test cases type. Now, as I have already said, smoke testing will be carried out before the system testing to ensure that when I will send my product for system testing, whether it is efficient to send. That is, whether the main parts of my software are working or not. If my main parts of the software are failing, there is no there is no point in sending it to be tested by the customers and the companies, because it will fail only. So the idea behind this smoke testing is that if the integrated product, it cannot pass even through basic tests, it is not ready for a vigorous testing. So it's very obvious, basic test, if it doesn't pass, how come you can go and learn higher subjects? So you need to pass the BTech in order to go for MTech na. So this is the concept. Main functionalities, if it fails in, it won't be able to do the other functionalities, because all of them are interrelated with each other. So for example, suppose we have a library automation system. So the smoke tests may check that whether the books can be created or deleted, that whether the members can be added or not, the member records can be deleted or created, whether the books can be loaned or they can be returned. So all these are basic elements of any library automation system, right? Because we will have members. So if the system is able, is making me able to create members or to delete members, if I am able to loan a book or to take that book back. So these are the basic test cases and the basic functionalities of any library management system. So if these things pass, then fine, it will go for final the system testing. And if it fails in this, the basic thing, the basic function it is failing in, that is I am not being able to use any button and lend a book, then what is the point in checking the system by the main customers? It has failed. So this was the idea behind this entire smoke testing, that we will check the basic tests. If it passed through the basic test, then we will send it to the like for vigorous testing. So is the concept of smoke testing clear to you? Yes or no? Is the small concept of smoke testing clear to you? So now we move on to the last topic, that is about the performance testing topic. Now, performance testing, it is an important type of system testing. And here we do what? We check the performance. ক্লাসে আছি পরে কথা বলছি. So, performance testing is carried out to check whether the system meets the non-functional requirements specified in the SRS document. So functional requirements are checked using this smoke testing. Then also it will be checked entirely using the system testing approach. But under system testing approach, we also check the performance testing, that is the non-functional requirements, whether it is meeting as specified in my SRS document. So this checking is done in performance testing. So several type of non-functional requirements testing non-functional requirements are documented in the SRS. So according to that, we will check that. First type which comes under performance testing is stress testing. Stress testing means how much stress that product or that software can handle. That is, when I am making that software, the amount of stress or the amount of capacity or the amount of overload must be there. Suppose I am making a product and there I have specified that this product may run up to 20 number of cases at a time. So I will definitely check that whether it is being able to satisfy that or not, right? So these type of test I will check in stress testing. So stress testing is also known as endurance testing. And it does what? It evaluates the system performance when it is stressed. For it evaluates, it's a very important term, it evaluates the system performance when it's stressed for short periods of time. Okay, so these are basically black box test cases. These are basically black box test cases, and these tests are designed to impose, suppose, a range of abnormal and even illegal input conditions, because our main motto is to stress the capabilities of the software. And in order to stress the capabilities of the software, we need to give as input illegal inputs or abnormal inputs, and see how the system can withstand it, right? So these things like input data volume, then input data rate, then suppose the processing time, then suppose the utilization of memory. So these all are tested beyond the designed capacity. So whatever is designed in my SRS document, I will stress beyond it. I will give input such that so as to stress the system beyond it, so as to check whether how much the system I have invented is able to withstand. Suppose it is said that my system is able to withstand up to 50, and I am when I am giving just 40 also, it is collapsing. So my motto is to give uneven inputs so as this processing time, this utilization of memory, all these can be stressed and this can be tested beyond the capacity. So suppose there is an operating system which I am developing, and in that operating system I have written that it is supposed to support 15 concurrent transactions at a time. Then the system is stressed by attempting to initiate like from 15 and more. So 15 transactions it is said to run concurrently. So 15 I will definitely run to see, and also I will run more transactions simultaneously. Suppose I will run 20 or 21 transactions to see that exactly how the system is behaving in that. It is entirely shutting down or it is giving errors. What the problem is. Okay. So this stress testing, it is especially important for system that under like normal scenarios or normal circumstances, they operate below their maximum capacity, but they are very severely stressed at some peak demand hours. Okay. Suppose I have a railway reservation system. So throughout the year that we do not buy tickets so much, right? But during these festive seasons like Diwali, Durga Puja, winter vacation, summer vacation also, suppose we do not buy tickets, but this during three, then Chhat, these are the festive seasons where people buy tickets more. So the load on the server and the load on this entire tickets managing system is more. So this type of systems they need to go through stress testing because they are idle in most of the year, but at some peak hours they are severely stressed. So what will happen if that system is severely stressed? We need to check it. Why? Because it may happen that due to this thing the server collapses. It may happen that the tickets that they have bought, that is also cancelled. So what will exactly happen if the system is stressed for a short period of time, that is at the peak hours? We need to test that also. So this type of systems will go through stress testing. Okay. The next type is volume testing. These all are under performance testing. Okay. The next type is about volume testing. Now this volume testing will check whether the data structure have been designed, whether the data structure have been designed to successfully handle the extraordinary situations. Okay. So whether the data structure, suppose the arrays, queues, stacks that have been designed, they have been able to successfully handle the extraordinary situations or not. Okay. So for example, if I am making a compiler, so it might be able to check whether a symbol table overflows when a large program is compiled or not. So what happens? So the data structure part, it will be checked under volume testing. The next we have is configuration testing. So configuration testing is done what? It is done to test whether the system behavior in various hardware and software configurations in the specified in the SRS document requirements, they are working or not. That is, the software which I have specified, the hardware which I have specified in my SRS document, they are at par through this testing or not. Sometimes systems are built to work in different configurations for different users. Okay, so this type of uh, testing, that is, it may happen that depending on the specific customer requirement, it is a different configuration is done. So whatever the configurations are specified in the SRS document, both the software and the hardware, the checking is done to see if the system behaves correctly in all the configurations that have been specified. Okay. The next is the compatibility testing. Now, this compatibility testing, it is not required for each and every systems. It will be required for those systems that require some system interfacing with external systems. That is, that software or that hardware, it will be interfaced with a database or it will be interfaced with a server. So, when it will happen, then the compatibility checking needs to be done in order to check whether the interface with which the external system are connected or they will be communicating with each other, where they are performing okay or not. Suppose if my system needs to communicate with a large database system in order to retrieve or to get some information, then the compatibility testing is required to test the speed and the accuracy of that data retrieval process, right? So compatibility testing needs to be done for those cases where we will try to see whether if my system requires any external system or requires the data retrieval of any external system, whether that data retrieval process is properly happening or not. That is the speed, the accuracy, the amount of data being able to fetch, finally the value of the data which is coming, all these are okay or not. Then compatibility testing will come. Next is the regression testing. I hope everyone has given their attendance. So if not, kindly give your attendance. So next is the regression testing. Regression testing is not done all the time, but it is generally done when we want to enhance the functionality or the performance of the system. So when we want to enhance the functionality or the performance of the system, we will be going for this regression testing. Okay. So few testing, only 1 minute is remaining. So a few testing are all remaining still. That is another 4 to 5 testings are remaining. So not a problem. So we will complete it in the next class, and with that, our module one will be finished entirely from you. Whatever is there in your syllabus, with this, the module one will be finished. So for today, we have studied about the integration testing of object oriented programming, the approaches. Then we have studied the system testing concept, the types of system testing done. We have studied the smoke testing, the functionality requirement testing, the performance testing. Under this performance testing, we have so far learned stress testing, volume testing, configuration testing, compatibility testing, and regression testing. Few 5 more topics of testings are remaining. Those we will cover in the next class. So up to this, what we have studied today, do any one of you have any query?
No, ma'am.
So I will stop here today. Thank you for coming for the class, and we will be continuing this topic in the next class. Okay, so thank you.